From there, we're going into interior stuff where one of the things that I think and not, this is self-serving, but I'm probably the only developer in Miami that uses mold-resistant drywall throughout the entire project. We've heard of many horror stories of mold rip-outs and this and that from other developers, and the cost of that can be millions and millions of dollars. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and made sure that we use the best products and the best quality products, so we don't have these kind of problems going forward. We also, as far as sustainable stuff, we have on the design side some reclaimed wood. Nothing really much to talk about, but again, just trying to be part of that entire part. And the most important thing for us is that our car elevator system, when we initially started doing the research for it, we were afraid of the electrical cost of running such a mega machine running up and down the building. And based on today's technology, you're going to learn something today. The elevator uses electricity when the car goes down. And when the car goes up the building, it's actually regenerating electricity. And that's done by a whole counterweight system, and that's how these elevators are actually working. So, and most elevators work the same. We adopted that same technology, but the net gain or net usage of electricity should be not that incredible or not that alarming to the association. So we thought about all these things before we went ahead and built the building, because we wanted to make sure that it was sustainable and that I was not going to stick the association with some $100,000 a month electric bill. So I mean, the technology is coming through. I'm a firm believer for outdoor stuff, those new false woods that are coming out. I think they're beautiful. They look just like wood. They're made of resins and plastic, and they last forever. We tried to use that in the project. It didn't exactly fit, but you're going to see a lot of that going forward. And it's important to use these kind of things that require less maintenance, less cost, and are better for the environment.
Our building are all either LEED certified or green. Our building are all non-smoking, and everyone has a connection to connect their electric car. This is the new trend.
Wow.
Yeah, I just got a new project in Pompano approved, and we included electric car charging stations, bike racks for each parking space. We included, actually, we have some dock space, so we actually dedicated 2 dock spaces to a boat sharing program. So we're absolutely looking at efficiencies, and then in typical building products like for windows, we're looking at using Solar Band 60 or different glazing products to keep energy efficiency high and our operating costs down. So the good thing is that it used to be look at going green as it's just a massive expense. The reality is as these technologies have gotten better and the costs have come down, you can actually utilize them to make the project more efficient and therefore cheaper to carry going forward, which is better and lower maintenance for your buyers. So we're absolutely looking at all those things through our building systems. I talked about some of the transportation things we're doing. And then again, we're also looking at reclaimed wood where it's appropriate in certain public spaces. But that's really quite frankly driven more about design. That's kind of in right now, and we like that look and feel. So we're looking at it from all aspects, but there's a move towards building more sustainable buildings.
Okay, thanks. The gentleman from Doral has the microphone.
Hi. Oh, that was loud. My name is Andres Cáceres. I'm the editor-in-chief of Doral magazine. And my question is about editorial content for my magazine. My readers, it's a lot of Latin American, of course, a lot of Venezuelan, Colombian, Peruvians, people living in Doral. And it's great that I get to ask this question to such experts like you. What area to each of you, what one aspect or perspective should I report on the most? Which one do you think would be the most interesting or is the most interesting aspect about your particular projects and real estate in South Florida in general? Thank you.
And this is for your overseas audience who reads the magazine, or both foreign and domestic?
I think one thing that the outsider or the newcomer needs to be educated on is that Miami is such a dynamic city with different sub-markets. So So when people are saying the price per square foot is X, it doesn't mean anything. Because what's different, what's downtown is different on the beach, is different in Doral, is different in Hollywood or Hollandale or anywhere else. And so that requires a little bit of explaining to people. Because, you know, people are used to New York City. The price per square foot is so much. And as you get closer to 55th Street and as you get closer to Chelsea, it goes up and down, etc. But here, you can, it's interesting. I saw a great project that's going to be built in Sunny Isles Beach on a property that I should have bought and I didn't. Long story there. But they're selling there at $600 a square foot. And I'm directly across the street on the ocean selling for a little bit more than double. So when you read, where's my good friend Zalewski? When you read Peter's article about there's 85,000 apartments being built on one postage stamp. Peter, I love you. But you know, when you read his article, you have to really break it down and understand exactly, and read between his numbers and understand what he's talking about. Just because there's so many projects doesn't mean that, and when he says there's 20,000 units in Sunny Isles in 85 buildings, and I'm looking out my window saying, where? It's because he's really talking about, you know, the global, and then you have to then divide it up. There's the east side, there's the west side, even down to, you know, in downtown Miami, you have Brickell, and you have north of Brickell. And so even that is two sub-markets that are completely different price ranges. So everything, and it all makes sense to us as local people. But to the outsider who's just learning this for the first time, they need the education. So as an editorial report, I think that would be a proper education to do to the buyers.
Yeah, I'd like to just add that about the inventory, just one more piece. You know, a unit only counts when it's under construction. And so all of these numbers that fly around, you hear 20,000 and 10,000. And so the truth is in downtown, which happens to be an area that people have a lot of heat on, there's only 6,000 units actually under construction. And like I mentioned earlier, 75% of them are already pre-sold with large deposits. And so, you know, when you really look at it, that's about a third of what was built in the last cycle. And so when people start thinking oversupply and everything else, 6,000 units is really not a lot. It's actually a very small percentage of total inventory. So I just wanted to add to what Gil said.
Okay. We have time for one last question, and the gentleman with the microphone.
Hi, my name is Christian. This question is more related about technology. It's sort of well known that the industry has been slow at adopting new technologies. Typically, real estate agents are left with the same devices to sell, which have been the same devices for 20 years, whether it's a brochure, a flyer, videos, websites, renderings. Would like to hear your opinion on new technologies that are out there to basically support real estate agents, specifically virtual reality, augmented reality, which are new technologies that actually allow for the end user, the buyer, the investor, whatever you want to call it, to have more of a real feel of what the unit will look like. It's an immersive experience. So in reality, one can be in Tokyo and Hong Kong and have a real feeling of what the apartment would look like in Miami and New York. It's not widely adopted in the industry. And I wonder if you think these technologies, you guys feel that you will embrace this anytime soon,